What's up guys, it's Nick, just bringing you guys a quick build guide or build showcase of my high-end Plant Oracle Druid. Obviously Plant Oracle has been a build that many people have been playing this league, me included, and I've really enjoyed it. I've come across some cool synergies that make the build really shine and pop off that I haven't seen anyone else using so far, so I'm quite excited to share that with you guys. As you can see from the showcase in the background, I've been able to do all content with this build. We've done Arbiter, we've done Zesht, we've done the Expedition Boss, and mapping is really cozy and comfortable. It's quite a tanky build. Obviously you're not going to face tank everything, but it's enough so that you don't really have to worry about rolling in maps, etc., especially in Simulacrum. If you like farming Simulacrums, then you could literally fall asleep playing this build in Simulacrums. It is so safe. So just to let you guys know, this is not a leveling guide, so there are other creators. Rax and Dead Rabbit have got leveling guides for Plant Oracle, so I'd recommend if you're looking to switch over, you go have a look at one of their guides, and then when you're ready to switch over to an optimized high-end version, then you're welcome to come back to this video if you need to. The build planner will be in the description. So yep, so let's just start off by looking at my skills and the skill setup I'm running. So if you look at my gear, we get Spellslinger from the Dueling Wand, but obviously Spellslinger is not essential. You don't need to use a Dueling Wand. I only have this as extra damage. Basically, Spellslinger builds up when you cast spells, and then it lets you cast a spell once it's built up enough charges, but this is really not required, so don't worry about it. In case you do get a Dueling Wand, the skill I'm running in there is Comet with Boundless Energy 2, Conk Area, and Cold Mastery. Then we've got Sigil of Power in our weapon set 2. So what you need to do is you need to equip a Charming Staff, because that gives you the Sigil of Power skill, and when you equip that, it lets you assign Sigil of Power. So when you put Sigil of Power down and you start casting spells, this builds up, and when that builds up, then you do more spell damage. Pretty self-explanatory. Supports on that are Rapid Casting 2, Magnified Area 2, Prolonged Duration 2, and Cooldown Recovery 2. Then we have our main clearing skills. Inside maps, we use Entangle, which you can see is on my left click. You just literally left click, it branches out and basically kills loads of monsters. I'll put some gameplay footage in the background for you guys to see how that looks. A juiced T15 map. So yeah, so in my Entangled setup, I'm using Accelerated Growth, Considered Casting, Magnified Area, Branching Fishes, and Efficiency 2. Efficiency 2 is something that I just use because this build is very mana hungry and does run out of mana fairly often if you're not picking up the mana remnants. You could take this out and put in any other support that you want. I just like using this because I don't like running out of mana, and I basically only left click when I map. Because this is strong enough that it just kills rares. I only have to use Thrashing Vines on unique bosses. So it brings us to Thrashing Vines. Thrashing Vines is our single target skill, very similar to Entangle. You just bring it out and these vines pop out of the ground and start smacking things. Does incredible amounts of damage. My Thrashing Vines, I'm running Concentrated Area, Heft, Considered Casting, Fizz Mastery, and Ulnatal's Embrace. Ulnatal's Embrace is quite a big damage increase, but it is quite expensive as well. I think it is going for about 19 divines at the moment. In terms of our auras, we're running Wolfpack, and Wolfpack provides quite a few synergies. So on my Wolfpack, I'm running Rapid Attacks 2 and Bleed, because the wolves normally stick around enough to proc Bleed. I just feel like these two are good for damaging. We've got Loyalty, which means that 10% of damage from hits is going to be taken from our companion's life before you. So anytime you take a big hit and you don't successfully tank it, then this is pretty good for surviving those large shots. And you can see in the boss showcases at the start of the video, quite a few abilities I get hit by that I probably wouldn't live through if I didn't have Loyalty. Essence Harvest to recover mana when these minions die, and they do die frequently. And then Amanamu's Tithe, which just gives us abyssal mods. A lot of people are running I think it's Infernal Legion, which causes the wolves to explode once they reach a certain amount of life, or for them to constantly explode. But you really don't need to run that because the wolves are going to just die in high tier content maps anyway. So yep, so that's that. My cast and crit setup is Thunderstorm with Efficiency, Shock Conduction, Living Lightning, and Excel's Torments. I'll go into a few more reasons to why I'm running Living Lightning and Shock Conduction, but it really boils down to this applies Shock really easily, and Shock is a huge damage multiplier for us. As well as we do have some additional minion damage I'll go into in a second. And then lastly, we've got Mana Remnants with Harmonic Remnants 2 and with Remnant Potency 1. And then Bone Storm is just an extra like single damage spell. If you're fighting a boss, you can start charging this down and shoot it out, and it does like a couple million damage. So yeah, just an extra single target spell. We're using Burgeon 2, Heft, Consider Casting, Rapid Casting 2, and Extraction. Taking a look at the gear, a lot of people are running a staves or a staff with this build. I personally prefer to run a wand and a focus just for the extra defenses and a bit more flexibility, but a staff is fine. My wand is pretty good. It is T1, well, T1 damages extra. Well, we've got one, each element has damages extra. We've got cast speed, and we got the +5 fizz. I crafted this myself. If you want a crafting tutorial for any of the gear in this video, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to make videos on that for you. Everything I'm wearing is self-crafted, so that is the wand. And then for the focus, we've got energy shield, spell damage, cast speed, +2 spell skills, and a resistance, and then a socketed resistance as well, which helps us reach our full resistance cap. Helmet is just a pure evasion, a pure energy shield helmet. So we got T1 hybrid, T1, and then we got 2 resistances and rarity. I like to have rarity on my character for mapping. Obviously not an essential stat, but obviously when you are on high end, it is fairly important. Looking at the rings, we've got a ring with 2 rarity mods, so rarity prefix, rarity suffix, life, chaos res, lightning res, and damage while on full energy shield. Gloves are night scale, really good for our recovery. I've got a 3 socket one with max cold res and 1% off increased crit hit chance, which just got resistance sockets in. But one really cool tech is Jakani's Thesis. It's a very expensive ancient augment that you can use, which says energy shield restarts after spending a total of 2000 mana. And when you look at how expensive these spells are, being 154 and 413, as well as the Thunderstorm in the cast on crit setup, this is easily reached, which means we are basically just always recovering energy shield. It does have a 4-second cooldown, but is a huge boost for survivability. So although it's expensive, I would definitely say it's worth it. It's a huge defensive increase. Headhunter is pretty self-explanatory. If you are mapping, then this is just the best belt in the game. Our chest, I've gone with a spirit chest, so I've got spirit, life, double res, and int. Obviously you just want to get as much energy shield on your gear as possible, and I have just chosen to get spirit on gear for extra auras. Boots are pretty standard, 35 ms with resistances. And then amulet, which is quite important, huge component. Unfortunately, I've sanctified mine and it absolutely crangled my spirit. So we did have T2 spirit, but that's gone way down. And we've got max life, spirit, rarity, res, max energy shield. But the really only important things on here are the +3 all spells and the spirit. All the other affixes are entirely up to you. Whatever you want to go with, that's totally fine. Then another cool tech is a Grip of Kulamak. So Grip of Kulamak is an abyssal ring that drops from the abyssal pinnacle boss, and basically it has a bunch of different random modifiers that you can get. But one of the modifiers that people seem to really be sleeping on is this gain onslaught for 4 seconds when a minion dies. So these wolves, which are companions, count as minions, and they die frequently and often in juiced maps, and it has a pretty good uptime, especially in maps. Additionally, we've gone for 2 damages extra mods, damages extra lightning, damages extra cold, and I went with a crit damage bonus. At the time of recording, this ring was like 1 divine, and I managed to hit a pretty nice double corruption on it. With the increased damage, the life regen rate doesn't really do anything, but really cool tech, really cheap, easy to fit in. You can put it on any build, and it's just basically free onslaught. So I thought that was quite cool, and I'd like to share it with you guys. talking about the anoint, I've got bone chains on here, but obviously there's a bunch of other useful nodes. Physical spell, critical hits build pin, and pin is obviously a really nice form of CC. We get it off in basically all our fights against like 10 15 million HP bosses, so I like it, but obviously that is flexible. I'll go into why it's flexible in a second, because we are taking something quite interesting. In terms of ascendancy tree, we obviously take an unseen path for the special skill tree that the oracle gets, and then we've got entwined realities, which lets us take keystone passives, well, passives in the range of a keystone passive, and then obviously inevitable crits and the lesser harm. I've seen quite a few people playing with Align Fate. I think it's fine, but in the POBs and the number crunching that I've done, I've just found that entwined realities is just better in terms of like better value. So this is what our tree is looking like. Pretty standard, pretty similar to most of the other cast on crit plant builds, with a few exceptions. So you'll notice that we have taken this section of nodes here. So we've got Bringer of Order, which is minion damage and increased damage all the way down here. The reason for that being is we've got a Megalomaniac Jewel, which is over here with Inspiring Ally, so increases in reduction to companion damage also apply to you. Companions are minions, so that means any increased minion damage will increase the companion damage, which then increases our damage. So it ends up being quite a lot of damage. And then this one's also got Overzealous, which unfortunately has increased mana cost of skills, but it's not really a negative when you consider the ancient augment from the Jakani's thesis. Yeah, if you can just get one with Inspiring Ally, then that's excellent. If they're none available or they're too expensive, then just anoint it and get a different Megalomaniac. In my opinion, you'll be totally fine. In terms of the rest of the tree, not many people take this relinquish your life. It helps us offset a bit of the mana cost, but also gives us quite a lot of extra chaos damage. If you look at the tooltip here, it goes from 81, well, it gives us basically 7,000 tooltip DPS, which in reality is quite a lot more. And we also take Kawa before the first ones, which is just 30% of every kind of damage, which obviously again goes back to relinquish your life, is really helpful and really useful. A lot of people seem to sleep on these two nodes as well, like Hallowed and Stun and Ailment Threshold from Energy Shield. These two will boost your survivability so much, because I found that most of my deaths were coming from me getting hit or light stunned and then just getting overwhelmed and dying. But when you take these, you basically become immune to ailments. Like my ailment threshold at the moment is 4,974. If you can reach that number, you're basically never going to get affected by ailments, and you're almost never going to be stunned, unless you're getting hit by a boss and the boss is stunning you that way. Jewels, I'm fixing Chaos Res via Jewels, or this one here, +7 Chaos Res, but plenty of good stuff you can get. You can get spell crit bonus damage, you can get spell crit hit chance, damage with plants, triggered spells, max energy shield. Just take whatever you need. Obviously, I've gone with the damage route here. We've got a controlled metamorphosis medium here, which is allowing us to take Aspiring Genius, which obviously procs Arcane Surge. Is not anything that is any new tech. Dead Rabbit's using it, and I think a few other people. But yeah, that's what I'm going with. So essentially, like, there's only so many ways you can cook a plant, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this build is performing so far. I really like the tech with the Onslaught on the ring. I think it's really useful, as well as the Jakani's thesis is an insane damage, insane defensive buff if you can afford it. Headhunt is obviously not needed for the build, but if you're mapping, and after all, this is a like expensive showcase, this is more for like an aspirational set of gear or an aspirational tree. I can really recommend it. But yeah, really fun build to play, guys. If you have any questions on crafting or any questions about the build, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I do read all the comments, so I'll definitely get back to you. We've also got a Discord in the description as well, if you guys want to join the Discord and share your drops, ask questions, then we would love to see you guys in there. Other than that, guys, hope this has been helpful for you. I hope you drop a bunch of divines, and you guys take care. Cheers.